Bitcoin, we start with the 1 hour chart. Just I want to give a quick update. Okay, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, we mentioned the price was exactly within this move. We mentioned if we want to look for buy, we mentioned about different possibility, and one of them was to have entry above the top, which is 58365. As you can see, the price haven't tagged yet. And even I mentioned if anyone wants to have entry above this top, still they can have. And as we get, if we put our line here, we can see if the price tag, still we had a few hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 8 hours. They have a time to take out the trade, because when they see after the price tag and broke this previous top, we see there is not moving. Okay, because if we put this one in relative to this, we see we have a divergence. Okay, maybe we put these three in relative to each other based on MACD. From we see we have a divergence, and as well here. That's why when we see the breakout of the this top and we see it's not moving, no one should be stay in the trade, because if I put my line here, we can see how many hours they have a time to take out the trade. Okay, and one more thing, so also I need to highlight here that we see, even if we refer to indicators, every time the price broke the previous top, we see the divergence, we prices start to drop even here. Okay, that's why when they see the divergence after the breakout of, if they have entry above the stop, they shouldn't stay with the trade. And now the question is, what's the next and how deep this one can go? First of all, we move to 15 minute, and even for 15 minute, when the price was within this move, we mentioned we can expect the price to drop, but the price move a bit higher and drop. This is the running flat we get, and we get this up move. And even based on 15 minute, we can see as long as the price was increasing, the indicators was showing us the divergence. Okay, that's why it didn't give us a good trade setup. No, we want to see what's the next. And first of all, if we move start with the daily chart, we have nothing based on daily chart, everything similar to what we expect. I mean, I explained in my last analysis. No, the question is whether this one can break the top and continue, or this one can turn to a bigger correction before we get the next up move. Okay, that's why we need to be quite careful if we want to buy at the top. And if we move to forward chart, we have nothing based on forward chart as well. Then the only question will be, can we expect this one turn to a deeper correction before we get the next move or not? All right. And now we move to 1 hour chart. And one thing also we need to highlight here, just for our information, if we put these two in relative to each other, we see the divergence here. It's starting to drop. Okay. And but it's not really clear divergence. We need to wait a few more hours, because we will see if the price drop or not. I mean, the divergence will continue, or maybe after a few hours is not there anymore. Okay, because if we put this one relative to this is what we can see even from here. Okay, now if we move to 1 hour chart, we want to see what we can expect. First of all, can this one turn to a channel or not? Because we want to see how deep this one can go, because before we get the next trade. All right, in this case we can put our line here as indicate, or just a trend line. Still we can expect the price to drop and take this line. Okay, at that time we can expect we are this one within the channel, and if this one continues the channel, I don't think we can get a really good trade setup. Any trade will be short term, because what we want the price sharply break out of this top and continue. All right, one thing we need to highlight is, still we can expect the price to take this drop to this trend line, then any reversal, if we get any trade setup from there, we can look for buy. But when the price comes to this trend line, we want to see whether there is a breakout, because if there is a breakout, maybe the price can retest the second trend line, and this one turn to a bigger correction similar to what we have here. All right, and one more things. Now we want to see how we can trade it. As I say, the best things is at least the price to drop to this trend line. Then from there, we see if there is a reversal, whether we can get any trade setup with a sharp move flag. If we get, we can trade it. And if the price reverse from here, one of the option again to have entry above the top, still we have it at 58365. And what we want the price tag and continue the price tag. We see it's not moving within 1 or 2 hours, we should take out the trade, similar to what we had here. And we should know every time the price broke the previous stop, reverse. And how about if the price break this one and start to correct? Because As I mentioned, maybe this one can turn to a channel. Okay, no, having entry above the top, but I want to say is really risky. And the another option, if the price reverse from here, still we can wait for the bid the sharp move with the breakout of the top. And if like above or correction above the top, we can take the trade. These two options we mentioned what we want a sharp move, not the corrective move. If the corrective move, we are not going to trade it. And anyway, the best thing is if this one can drop a bit more, even the breakout of the trend line, then from there any reversal we can take it. Anyway, we don't have much changes, and as I seen in my compared to our analysis in my last video, in this case we just follow the chart. If I see any update I will share. Thanks.